Okay, so after having a week off break, Donbrothers is finally back with episode 36. And I'm going to say, there's some things I liked about this episode, there's some things I didn't like about this episode. So, the cliffhanger we had last week, 2 weeks ago, was Inuzuka getting kidnapped and captured by the bestials, and there was a clone of him running around the place being all feral. Now, in this week's episode, when they played the preview, they sort of teased a confrontation between the real Inuzuka and the fake one. We got that in the episode, but it was like near the end of the episode, near the final stretch, and it was wrapped up before you knew it. So, seeing that in the episode, I was kind of bummed out because that plotline wrapped up, like I said, before you even knew it. Like the whole Inuzuka clone, that's wrapped up before you knew it. It was really funny and really wacky of the bestial clone of him running around the place and doing things that Inuzuka does, like cooking and that. And he's forcing everyone to eat the food, and Taro tries it and he's like, you can do better. But I thought they'd sort of keep this plotline thread going a little bit longer in the episode, but it's wrapped up before you know it. But not only that, we also see Miho or Natsumi, Natsumi, whatever you want to call her, turns into the crane bestial, which the design is it's just got a big old cone head. Nothing too crazy, nothing too crane-like. I guess it's sort of like the origami that it's based on, but I thought the design would be more threatening, but it's got a big old cone head, which it does look cool. I do like the bestial suit designs, but this one, I thought it would look much differenter than the other ones we've seen so far. This one's just got a big old head. But I feel like this episode suffered from an identity crisis and didn't know what it wanted to do in the 22 minutes. I could be wrong, that's just my opinion, because this episode was kind of just all over the place during its 22-minute runtime. It started off with Kijino being upset and lashing out at his workers, which was kind of funny. I like how he pushed up that worker against the glass and he said, if there's a problem, you do it yourself, you fix it. And then you had the other Donbrothers trying to cheer him up, and they gave him a bunch of ice creams and stuff, and he's like, I'm just not feeling it. And then they sort of chase after him, and then you sort of see the feral Inuzuka running around, so everyone follows him. And we get some wacky scenes, like I mentioned earlier, with him sort of cooking in the place and sort of force-feeding everyone. We had that scene. And then we had Haruka sort of running around in the park, and she runs into Miho Natsumi, and they start hanging out in the episode. And then Miho Natsumi gets confronted by Sononi and Sonoza, and then they have a brief fight, which was really freaking cool. I love the fight choreography for those two fighting. And then she jumps away and then happens to land in front of Taro, and then they fight for a little bit, but we also learn from freaking Miho Natsumi that Inuzuka is sort of sleeping there, and they can bring him back to the real world, but if they do that, then that means the bestial clone is not going to be immortal anymore. So that's an interesting thing to note. So I do wonder if that's kind of sort of teasing of how they're probably going to handle the whole Miho Natsumi thing at the end of the show. Because maybe both characters will get both girls in the end, and somehow the Miho Natsumi will sort of end up, well, the Miho side will end up being with Kijino, and then the Natsumi side will end up being with Inuzuka, the real one. I don't know, I'm just spitballing, but we learned that. But then after we learn that, like I said at the end of the episode, the bestial of Inuzuka gets taken out right away. But you actually get to see sort of Inuzuka sort of holding his gut when he sort of takes out the clone of himself. So there's that to take note of, that he felt some kind of injury when taking out his other form, but they did sort of attack each other at the same time, which was pretty freaking cool. We also got a roll call in this episode for the very first time. They actually did the Donbrothers roll call in the show. Now, if you've seen clips online on Twitter and other Toku social medias and stuff like that, your TikToks, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, they've done the roll call for the stage shows when they do the performances and stuff like that. This was the first time seeing it in the show, which was really cool, but they didn't do it properly because Inuzuka's not Inuzuka, so he just started growling and sort of running from side to side. and he sort of cut everyone off, and Jiro sort of showed up at the end, so they couldn't do the full roll call, they couldn't do all 6 members. So unfortunately that was cut off with that roll call, and hopefully we get to see it again. But I do like the effect that they had with sort of the Inuzuka bestial, where he does his roll call and it's sort of like blood dripping, and sort of the bestial's theme starts overlapping with the Donbrothers theme, and then it sort of takes over near the end of the roll call. That got a laugh out of me. That did get a chuckle out of me, so I'm hoping that we'll see the proper roll call later down the line near the end of the show with all 6 members. So that'd be something really cool to see. Now, the monster of the week, I've got not much to say because it's based on Go-Go 5 Lightspeed Rescue. He didn't do much. I mean, he sort of got traumatized by everything going on and kept saying emergency, emergency, and then he turned into like the Go-Go 5 monster, which was a really cool design because it was based on what they wore in the show, the rescue outfits, and his Zord, his giant form, was based on the train Zord, whatever that was. So that was really cool to see. I did like that. I did like seeing that fight at the end, because we did get to see the super duper mech that combined the Don OG Taijin Dragon combination with the bird, which is not a bad combo design. It's very big. Also, that it's got a lot going on for it. It does look a little bit cluttered, but seeing it in motion when you get to see it fight, it does look really cool. But when you just see sort of the still frames of it, or the toys and something like that, it does look like a very cluttered combination when it gets put together, but seeing it fight, it looks really cool in the show. So yeah, Donbrothers episode 36, I enjoyed the episode, but I feel like it was all over the place with all the different plot lines it talked about. I mean, they even talked about the Donbrothers movie at one point, which I kind of caught on, but then I had to go to the wiki kind of to verify it, but they talk about that movie that I haven't seen yet, which we'll probably watch when the fan subs drop for it. But like, this episode, I feel like it was trying to tackle a lot of things at once, and it did it okay, but I feel like it fumbled along the way. Like, it had some, like I said, some really good humorous moments, like when Sonoza comes to help Momotaro, and he's like, I'm dealing with this because Sononi doesn't want you to die, and he starts reading this script, and he's like sort of fumbling his words, and then he's like, to hell with it. And then you've got sort of Sononi watching on top of the building, where he's sort of like sort of mouthing out the script that he wrote for him. So that was a really fun, silly moment as well. Like, I love the sort of relationship between the Noito and Momotaro and the rest of the gang, especially the whole Sonoza and Haruka stuff going on. Because I love the chemistry that these characters have, that they're enemies, but sort of like they know how to bounce off of each other really well with their rivalries. So anyway, guys, I think it's going to bring my review of Donbrothers episode 36 to a close. 37 is looking like a lot of fun. I might do a breakdown for 37 with the preview images and try something new. You never know, you never know. We'll see how this review goes and that goes. But anyway, guys, what did you think of Donbrothers episode 36? Love it, hate it? Tell me in the comment section down below. I think I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care. Bye.